And I guess we're live. I don't see anybody. Well, nobody's saying anything in the live chat, so I don't know if there's anyone there. It does say there's 4 people watching, so assume that's actual people. They might be away from their computer. Any rate, so the topic is. They might be away from their computer. Hold on. Any rate, close that. The topic is non-biological evolution, or evolution outside of biology. Oh, hi, Pavel. Okay, so I know there's at least one person actually there. Like I said, other people might have stepped away from their computers. It's a possibility. Now, something I did yesterday, just briefly got into, was running searches for non-biological evolution thing on like YouTube or just a Google search or something like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that again. And I haven't actually set up to do that yet, but let me just go ahead and share my screen. And there we go. So I've got the screen being shared now. And that's my whole screen, by the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and open a tab, and in that tab, let's do a little YouTube search. Now, I'm not sure how well the audio is going to come through here, or how that's going to work, but here, how about just run a search for non-biological evolution directly, and we'll see what comes up there. And here we are, the first one to come up. This is obviously not non-biological. This is a theory of evolution by natural selection, evolution, biology. Okay, so that search didn't work very well, not in that respect anyway. So just the word evolution. Let's try that. And here, do this. Minus biology. That might be something. There. Pearl Jam, Do the Evolution. Don't know what that is. Looks like a music video. Evolution, Ruthless Aggression. I maybe should have done that on a separate. Red Barrel Rider says cool topic. Thanks. Yeah, I maybe should have done this on a separate tab, or in a separate, not a separate tab, in a separate window, so I could more easily flip back and forth between them, and then just share that window. I suppose I could still do that. Here, let's see if I take this off of here and make that separate, and let me go back and change this screen share. So let's see. Stop the screen share, add a new screen share, set this one to an application window, and go with this one. There we go. Okay, so that way I can come back and see what I'm doing. Okay. And so let's see, Evolution's Ruthless Aggression History WWE playlist. I have no idea what that is. When evolution goes wrong, the Eternal Cylinder. Looks like something in a video game. Ape to Man, Theory of Evolution documentary. I find that one so humorous, Ape to Man. I mean, after all, well, man, of course, I'm sure they don't mean just the male kind, even though the English word is ambiguous in that respect. But humans are apes. So, it's not like it's ape to human. It's ape to another kind of ape. That kind of ape happening to be human apes. So, yeah, it was one kind of ape to another kind of ape. ancestors of humans to humans is what it more accurately would be. And if you take that ancestry back far enough, they're not apes anymore either. You go farther back than that, they're not mammals anymore either. Going forward is where we, keep the clades that we're already in. Going backward, you can lose a clade every so often. Comparison evolution of punishment. Don't know what that is. Whipping, impaling, keel hauling, stoning. um, so, anybody want to make a suggestion? Which one of these I should open up? Let's see. I broke evolution with an auto clicker in ecosystem. Evolution of dance. Here, let's have a quick look at that. Although it's probably got music in it, so I'll have to
at Target, the low
most likely end it. I gotta wait for the advertisement to get out of the way.
This unforgettable
and another ad. Oh, they're just gonna do that to me.
This memory.
Okay, skip ad. And suppose I could mute it. Yeah, I'll just mute the audio. So there's dance from what year? I think it said a year, and I didn't catch what it was. It's changing the songs. Oh, it's down on the bottom, 1950s, and 1960s. Here, let's speed this up. Playback speed. Let's go to 1.5. Now, this is a common thing with evolution to depict it in this sort of a way where it ends up being like a movie, like, frame by frame by frame as things change, because evolution is an accumulation of change. So you add a change and then you show a little of that, and you add another change and you show a little of that, and you add another change and you show a little of that. And there are a lot of things out there that do this sort of thing with the evolution of dance. And yes, dance actually does evolve. New dances are generally derivatives of one or more older dances. I mean, once in a while, somebody just comes up with something completely different, but in general, dance does evolve. And let's see, what else? If I skip out of this one, let's see, how much is left of that? Quite a bit. I'm just going to go ahead and close out of that one and check back on the I suppose I could have left that run while I checked on the live stream, live chat. Let's see. Oh, Seraphim Hyde says hello. Hello, Seraphim Hyde. And Red Barrel Rider is asking, have you heard of dual inheritance theory? Still technically biological, since culture does not yet have the ability to evolve independent of genetic interests. I don't think I have heard of that. But from the context, from what you just said, I take it that it's talking about where humans inherit things both biologically and otherwise, and that is something that is the case. I haven't heard it called that, I don't think, but yes, we inherit our culture, but not through our genetics. We inherit our education for the most part, but also not through our genetics. Now, of course, we can learn things from the actual world we live in, and in that case, they're not inherited from other people. I mean, like, if you say, for example, you plant seeds and you learn for yourself how they sprout, how they grow, and what kinds of conditions they'll survive under and stuff like that. Then you're not learning that from another person. You're just learning that by like trial and error. And of course, anybody does scientific experiments, they can learn from those as well. What is this? Where was I? Okay, going on with what Red Barrel Rider was saying, but culture does show divergent or competing interests, and it's conceivable that culture could break free of its biological substrate. Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting thing, that because it depends on, I suppose, what the culture is. I mean, if in order to break free of the biology, it has to be culture of something non-biological. Um, I suppose artificial intelligences might develop such a thing somewhere along the way. Um, that would be interesting to see. Or perhaps culture acts more like a bridge between two different paradigms. Well, it can. Um, and yeah, the thing is, when you inherit a culture, you don't inherit all of it, just like when you inherit genetics from your parents. You don't inherit all of either parent's genetics. But in the case of culture, it's more a matter of you're inheriting it from your parents and from your other relatives and from your friends and from your neighborhood and from a bunch of other stuff. And you inherit it by means of learning the culture. So it's not passed on the same way, and it doesn't have to abide by the same restrictions. And as a result of that, it is evolution of something inherited, but um, as it's passed from one person to another. But it also can evolve within that person, and then the evolved version from that person be passed on to someone. So that's not how biological evolution works in general, because if you have, for example, a skin cell that has a mutation in it, that's not going to get passed on to your offspring. Only when those mutations are actually in the gametes they can get passed on. um, let's see, culture of poverty. Yeah, that's inherited a lot. not so much not so much the culture itself directly, but rather the poverty tends to get inherited, and the culture sort of goes with it. um, if if the home of the meme is the mind, then new better minds would be better vehicles for mimetic evolution. This is true, Red Barrel Rider. I would agree with that. As the mind improves, it becomes a better vehicle for carrying ideas and processing them and passing them on. Um, crossing over in meiosis. Nathan Genesee says crossing over in meiosis. I I'm I'm not sure if I'm not sure what exactly is meant by that. If you can clarify what you mean, I'd appreciate it. Um, hmm. Talking about the genes being passed on through meiosis, is that what that was? Not sure. Any rate, I'm gonna go back to this list that I've got here, the search results, and let's see, evolution of German tanks. Let's have a quick look at that one, and just go full screen. I don't know, does full screen work on that? Or will that mess the whole thing up? Oh,
historian.
unmute
Given
it.
the sheer amount of vehicles designed by Germany during the 20th century, we're only going to be featuring the tanks that were produced in large numbers, as well as a couple of significant interwar prototypes. If you want to see more videos covering different German tanks, like self-propelled guns and tank destroyers, don't hesitate to let us know in the comments below. Now, enjoy my horrible attempts at German pronunciation. First, I'd like to thank our sponsor. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game that lets you fight up to 128 other players in weeks-long real-time matches. Build an army with dozens of different units, from tanks such as the T-80 or the 25 Sprite SD, and infantry to jets and nuclear submarines, then deploy them all to conquer the world, fighting alone or as part of an alliance. I especially like the strategic depth and unit variety that makes every battle unique. The game's also cross-platform and allows you to use the same account on both PC and mobile devices. Use the link in the description. Within 30 days, you get 13,000 gold, 1 month premium subscription, and the chance to...
So apparently that is about different kinds of tanks, and um, meaning military vehicles of that sort, and how they've changed over the years. Um, evolution of language, yes, Nathan. Language definitely evolves. Now, evolution of cultural zeitgeist. I'm not sure if does the zeitgeist evolve. Um, how exactly do you define zeitgeist? let me just see what Google gives as a definition. The defining spirit or mood of a particular period of history as shown by the ideas and beliefs of the time. Well, yeah. Now, if that was taken to mean a particular period of history and staying in that period, then of course that's not going to change because the period in history doesn't change. Now, if you consider the present to be a period in history, but in that sense a constantly changing period in history, then yeah, in that sense I would say the zeitgeist itself could evolve. Robert X says that was a horrible tank. I'm not sure which one was being referred to because I wasn't watching that. I was looking on another tab. Yeah, so that's the evolution of tanks in a video, and I'm wondering, can I continue that YouTube search without interrupting that, or start it elsewhere? Let's see, what else can I find? Great transformations. Place in a primate tree, that would be biological. Oh, okay. Well, there is another one on evolved tanks, and let's see if I copy the link to that and take this one out of full screen and just paste that over here. And it's going to do the whole going through advertisements again. Any rate, I'm gonna share the link to join this stream in case anybody wants to come in here and join the conversation. This is, it says we evolved tanks with the new cannon damage update, and let's see, turn on the audio. Whoops, what happened? Try it again.
Body instant destruction. What better way to celebrate tank cannons being better? And with a tank battle. Oh, I see. You challenged me. You challenged me. Well, there goes my gun.
That's running at high speed, by the
so we're
way.
going to apply the evolution concept to the tank battles, where we are going to not only have power core increases between rounds, but also part increases between rounds, so you can start adding more armor and building a more fortified tank and stuff. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. But just remember, whichever tank wins each battle, that's what.
So apparently they're talking about some sort of a tank contest and updating the tanks between rounds. So yes, that would also be evolution, as an error occurred. Don't know what the error was that occurred, but I guess I'll just go ahead and close that, remove that. And just stop that screen share. Okay, let's see. To join the live stream, and that, and I see. So just close that. Okay, so I shared the link to join the live stream in case anybody wants to do that. Yeah, evolution noticed it to be flawed. Quite possible, Robert X. That's something noticed a flaw. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. An error happened. Broke it. Yes, Seraphim, apparently. But yeah, they were talking about, apparently they were talking about having some sort of game or contest, and then in between rounds making updates to their tanks. So yes, that would be a form of evolution, because each change that's added becomes part of the evolution, and it's all evolution is, just changes adding up. Let's see. Can I find something else? There's something on the evolution of Minecraft. Let's see. Can I open that in a new window? Sure. And I'll just pause that and come back in here and try to share the screen again. See if that screen share will work. Screen share, application window, this one, and there we are. So again, I don't know if full screen is a good idea, or if that's going to mess things up. So I'll just start this one, and I think that's normal speed. This is what Minecraft would. What was that? I'm going to back that up just a little bit. What Minecraft would look like if made in 1990. Not sure what they meant by that. Pre-classic first version of Minecraft. At this point, let me blocks. Well, I can't read that quite fast enough to read it out loud, even at normal speed. May 2009. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the audio and speed up the video. Playback speed 1.5. Let's just go to 2 and just let that zip through for a while. Let's see. Robert X says, and to even add more to the example, the environment had an influence on their evolution too. Tanks, yes, very much so, including the environment of what kind of weapons the other side, whatever side they were fighting against or defending against, might have had. Environment almost always affects something's evolution. I say almost because there are cases where you can isolate something and its changes can happen isolated from other things, but then in a sense that means nothing else is its environment. It basically is its own environment. Looks like I got another advertisement going on there and wouldn't let me skip out of it anyway, so so yeah, they're just going through a bunch of stuff that's been added to Minecraft between its inception and this year. Like 30 years of Minecraft, roughly. Let's see. What else? Okay. Complete evolution of Ifrit. I have no idea what Ifrit is. Evolution of Dracula animation. I'm looking at another window in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. Tell animated. Okay. Copy link. And let's see. Go over to this one. I'm going to turn off the Minecraft one and switch over to this other one and see if I get an error again. Final Fantasy Union. Okay, so yeah, it says complete evolution of IFRIT, Ifrit, whatever that is. Let's see if I unmute it.
Significant change over the years, and throughout this video, we're going to take you on an expansive journey where we'll explore how every single appearance of Ifrit has tied together to create something of legend. Prior to gracing the Final Fantasy franchise, Ifrit first appeared in relation to Islamic mythology.
Okay, I'm going to back that up. What does it say? Complete evolution of Ifrit in Final Fantasy. What is Ifrit? I think that must have been at the beginning. I missed that part. I'm going to back it up a little bit.
Amongst the pantheon of summons who have graced the Final Fantasy franchise, Ifrit is one of the most venerable. Often appearing as a horned beast who would rain down fire.
It's a character. Okay.
Ifrit is ever present as the franchise built out. But even though some core traits have remained, such as the association Ifrit has had with the fire element, when looking in more granular detail, we can see that there has been significant change over the years. And throughout this video, we're going to take you on an expansive journey where we explore how every single appearance of Ifrit
is a summon. Okay. I don't know what a summon is either, but apparently it's some sort of a character. So thanks for that.
Ifrit was referred to as a cast of horned creatures who were malicious in nature and were related to the jinn, supernatural creatures.
Oh, he's explaining it all.
Who were typically associated with air or wind and could dwell in inanimate objects like oil lamps. As a rebellious subclass of the jinn, the Ifrit were more akin to demons.
So yeah, that's
legendary. That's
on a channel called Final Fantasy Union. I probably should have been keeping track of these.
They did not necessarily act out of evil, and sometimes they even performed the
will. And I probably should have been keeping track of all the videos and like saving the links and put them in the description or share them in the chat or something. I guess I could grab this one and share it in the chat since I still have it up. So there, that's shared in the chat. Oh, I should have said what it is in the chat. Here, let me remove that. Can I remove that? Let's see. Maybe not. Did that work? Yeah, I removed that one. And remove that one. And then I'll try it again. So let's see. Evolution of Ifrit video. There. So at least now I said what it is. And skip the ad. So let's see, what else can I find? Forest evolution, perfect ecosystem. Don't know what that is. Perfect ocean ecosystem. Evolved. Okay, some more tanks. Evolution of Roblox. How about we take a look at that? Copy link, and I'll just paste that one in here. And yeah, it's just got music running in the background, so I'll leave that audio off. And I'll post a link to that also. Okay, evolution of Roblox. Now, of course, not every video labeled as evolution of something is actually going to be evolution. Sometimes people get it wrong, and sometimes they're not even trying to get it right. It's just, you know, a label. Okay, Seraphim Hyde says Ifrit is a fire-based one that appears in the game. Okay, so yeah, a fire-based character, a summon. I guess that's a character that can be summoned. That's what I'm guessing is meant by that. So yeah, there's a evolution of Roblox going on there.
TYT Live. Obama aids lose IT invited. SAJ. Delgado on Trump ate Jason Miller's shady tricks. YouTube. Lavert at CM Ray Triumva.
Oh, did I accidentally Yes, I did. I accidentally um, uh, clicked show on my YouTube link earlier, leaving that blocking part of the screen. Sorry about that. Let's see. Evolution of is easily conflated with the history of. Yes, Nathan Genesee, this is absolutely true, and and it's sometimes difficult to explain the difference between them, because the evolution of something is um, the process of it accumulating changes, and the history of something is often the record of what changes were accumulated, and the order that they were accumulated in. So the biggest difference there is that history is a record of something, whether a natural record or a human recorded record or otherwise. But history is a record of the past, and evolution is a process. Um, and of course, evolution can be happening in the present. History is always in the past. We might be currently making history, but it doesn't actually become history until it's in the past. Um, Pretty cool vid title: the New York City Evolution Animation. Okay, I could have a look for that one. See if I can find that. Um, the New York City Evolution Animation. I don't know if you're saying that's something that you found out there, or apparently so. There it is. And oh, well, got it. So grab that, and I'm gonna swap that one out for the evolution animation that's going on already there. And yeah, thanks, Nathan Genesee. Sorry about that. Apparently, I removed myself from the stream. I accidentally pasted that link in here instead of where I wanted to paste it in. So, oops. Let me try that again. Okay, share screen and application window. That's that one, and share that. And I'm going to just restart that one back at the beginning. Don't restart the wrong one. So here goes New York. And this film assembles animated history maps to illustrate the growth of New York City. So yeah, it is showing the history, but in a form that also shows the evolution. And that's one of the reasons why the two things often get confused with each other, because often showing the history of something in order is also showing its evolution. So let's see, if I full screen this, no, if I full screen it, it'll come right out of full screen when I switch back over to here. So yeah, so I'll just leave that. Oh, I can shut the sound off. Don't need that audio. It's not doing anything useful. Copyright strike? I hope not. Yeah, I got to be careful with that, with the music and stuff. And let's see. Can I speed this thing up? Playback speed. Let's go to 2 times. Oh, it's already at 2 times. I didn't think it was. And okay. Yeah, not really sure what else I should do on here. If I should just call it quits, or does anybody want to join in here and join the conversation, or should I run some Google searches and try to find some other stuff, or what? I don't know. Or I could just go through. Well, here, let's see. I'm on this one. Let's just do a Google search, or whatever search is default in this browser. Actually, I think it's a Bing search in this browser. So let's see. Here I should be able to do the minus biological thing. Minus biology, and see what that does. Evolution Wikipedia, videos of evolution minus biology, and yeah, that's that. Evolution definition, history, types, example, evolution 2001 film, evolution, watch evolution, Prime Video. I don't know. Yeah, not really giving me much of anything useful in here right now. IMDb, another film, evolution. By the way, a lot of films get evolution badly wrong. They usually, when there's evolution in the title, it usually has to do with biological evolution, and they generally tend to get it very badly wrong. Although there are cases where it's some other kind of evolution, and sometimes they even get those wrong. And nope, not finding anything specifically interesting there. Here, let's do this instead. Oh, that's right. In Bing, I don't know if the minus biology thing works. I know it works in Google. That may or may not work in Bing. Hadn't thought about that. Evolution of cephalopods. Evolution of civilization. Okay. Evolution of governance in 9 stages. That could be something interesting. Have a look at what that is. Evolution of governance in 9 stages. A foundation for economic education. Starts with clans and kingdoms, followed by empires and republics, but then what? So, yeah, don't know. Author is Max Borders. I'm not sure what the whole page is about, or how much of it's correct or accurate, or whatever the case might be, but something someone wrote up. And what is this? Push notifications? No, rather it don't. So I'm going to grab the link for this, and I'm just going to post that also. Evolution of governance article, and put the link there. And I'll post the link again to join the live stream in case anyone's interested. There's that. And let's see. Evolution was a funny movie. Sarah from Hyde says, actually, I've seen several movies named Evolution, so I'm not sure which one you mean. I've actually had times where I've ran a search for like movies named Evolution, and watch whatever whatever happens to come up, and there have been several of them. Just that's like the whole name in some of them, but yeah, none of them ever seem to get it right. Yes, I was about to read the chat and ended up outing myself from the stream. The 2001 one. Oh, which one would that be? I'm curious. Evolution. I'm running a search. Movie 2001. See what I get. That one. Yeah. I don't know if I've watched that one or not. I recognize it. If I can bring up a close up. Yeah, I don't think I've watched that one. I'm not really sure. Let's see.
Messages 201-613-3853. Jello. Messages 201-613-3853.
There it is. Well, apparently it's free to watch with a Prime membership, and I do have Amazon Prime, so I can watch it on there. If I haven't already done so. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have watched that one or not. At any rate, scroll down through this. Let's see. Constitutional republics, startup nations. Now, here's the thing. Okay, this is referring to. I want to clarify something here. The evolution of governments in 9 stages. This is a problem that Karl Marx made. A mistake that Karl Marx made. A particular government has a particular path of evolution, but when you're talking about something like this evolution of governance in 9 stages, I don't know, I haven't read the article, but that seems to me to sort of imply that there are certain stages that governments will evolve through, and that was the mistake Karl Marx made, of thinking that evolution worked that way. And of course, it was commonly believed back then that evolution was preordained, that the way things would evolve was determined in advance, and it's not. In general, the way that things will evolve is not determined in advance. It's not preordained that things will go through certain stages, and you know, what governments will evolve in the future, we don't know. We just don't know. I mean, sure, we can recognize that certain paths have been taken in the past, and other governments can go through those same basic paths. It doesn't mean that they necessarily will. Okay. Well, going on 2 hours on this video, and I thank everyone for being here. I'm thinking I'm running out of things to say, and this is one of the problems of being unscripted, is you know, I haven't planned in advance exactly what to talk about. I think of all kinds of things, of course, when the video is not in the middle of happening, and then when it is happening, may or may not think of the same things again. Let's see. Atomic techniques reveal the evolution of bacterial protein. Okay, that's biology. Evolution of cephalopods, also biology. Understanding the evolution of SARS and COVID-19, technically biology. Evolution of axial spondyloarthritis. Well, that's in biology, but it's not technically evolution of biology per se, or evolution of life. It's more of an, looks like an evolution of well, I don't know. It says classification, diagnosis, and therapy. Looks like an evolution of a particular illness or condition. Axial spondyloarthritis defines the immune-mediated inflammatory form of arthritis associated with the spine and sacroiliac joints, and it typically presents as chronic back pain. Available data estimate the prevalence of AXSPA in up to 1% of adults in the United States. The diagnosis of AXSPA is challenging and can take up to 10 years from initial symptom onset. This is an article by Helen Fossum, PhD, on rheumatologyadvisor.com. So, yeah, the evolution of axial spondyloarthritis. And let's see, if I go back to here, what else can I find in this list? Cooperation, evolution of cooperation. Okay, that's a PDF file on the evolution of cooperation, and apparently it's starting in the document. I don't know if this is scanned from a book or what it is. Types of cooperation: mutualism, coordination, altruism. Altruism is definitely a type of cooperation. Threshold cooperation. Looks like some pretty detailed stuff about the evolution of cooperation. Rather interesting. So checking back on the live chat. Oh, hi Harry. Harry says, how about the evolution of the word evolution? Yeah, that hasn't evolved much, but it actually has evolved. It started out, well, the word evolution actually comes from the word evolve. And the word evolve originally meant to roll out. And of course, it came from, device is not connected. Pavel, I see you tried to join, but something appears to have gone wrong. You wanna back out and come back in again, or wait, there it is. Okay.
Oh, can you hear? I'm sorry. I actually, I hope you don't mind.
Let me get my audio so I can hear. Hello, are you there?
Oh, hi. I actually kind of wanted to test this. Do I have to be wearing like headphones to do this?
I don't know. I'm not hearing an echo. Is anybody else hearing an echo? Want to mention in the chat? Usually having headphones on is a good way to avoid echo. But
yeah.
If like I said, I'm not hearing an echo. I don't know if anybody else is. Sometimes I think the person hosting the thing gets isolated from that.
Well, I wanted to call in here because you were mentioning you said something about governments of the future, and I think it's very interesting. You were saying that we won't know what the governments of the future are, and I think it's so interesting when you think about it. Like the leaders of the future are not even born, and what sort of environment are they raised in? Who raises them? How do they, what sort of things happen in society? Like those things are the possibilities of determining, what we're going to have in the future. Like as an example, like Donald Trump. Like, I don't think anybody ever expected that a person like that could ever be a leader ever.
Actually, I was anticipating that for quite some time. I've been fighting since 1969 to gain people the right to vote directly against someone. One of the big reasons was to keep something like that from happening. And if we don't get something like that, if we don't eventually give people a way of balancing, the opposition to someone with the promotion of someone, if we don't find a way to keep that lack from being exploited, we will probably get much worse than that eventually. And I know that's a sad thing, but it's true. Now, again, there's no way to know for sure, but still likely.
No, and there is, and of course on the flip side of that, you could have, a great leader in the future too. I mean, it's you could have the flip of that too. It's all depends.
Yeah. What we can do is we can guide the evolution of our government or governments, and there's no way of knowing what changes will happen to them in the future, but we can encourage certain changes, and we can encourage certain changes to stay, and we can encourage certain changes to be repealed or taken away. And so in that sense, we have an ability to affect that evolution in multiple ways.
Yes, we certainly do. You're absolutely right.
So yeah, it's something that we very much should be doing. That we should be taking an active part in looking at, like, what governments do we like, what features of, and how, thinking about, like, how would those features be within the government that the governments that we have some say in, and encourage the changes we think would be best.
Yeah, and I think the best thing that you could have is an educated, healthy society. I think that's the best way you can do that. And if you look
definitely can be beneficial.
Right.
A guy that goes by the name of Clay Shentrup, I've known for quite some time to be advocating for approval voting. Now, I've got some more complex voting systems that I personally feel would be much better than approval voting, but approval voting would be a huge improvement over what we have now here in the United States, and actually would even be better than the instant runoff voting or ranked choice voting that they have in, like for example in Australia. And also, to change from the system the United States has to approval voting would be like the simplest change we could make in our elections.
Can you give me an example then? I'm not really sure what you're talking, like what that means.
Well, you know how voting works in the United States, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. You've got a list of candidates, and the instructions are pick one.
Certainly. Yep.
Okay. Change those instructions to pick as many as you want, and you've got approval voting.
Okay, so then who wins? The person that gets the most approval?
Whoever gets the most votes. You count each vote for each person as one vote for that person. There are no votes against a person in ordinary approval voting. There are only votes for someone, but you can vote for as many as you want, and that way, if there are two different candidates that you support, you can cast your vote of support for both of those candidates and not have to pick between them.
I personally think the best system is the runoff system, because if you look at, for example, Canada and the UK, where for example, you in certain districts, parliamentary districts, you have three parties running, and so let's just say, for example, in parts of Canada, where, because there's three parties, there's the NDP, which is the the left.
Yeah, parties are a problem, by the way.
Right.
They're a big part of the problem.
Well, and then what happens is there's a conservative, there's the Liberal Party. The NDP, which is the left party. You have the Liberal Party, which is sort of the center-left party, and then you have the Conservative Party, which is the right party. And what that ends up doing a lot of times is it splits the vote between the left. And so the conservatives can, and this can happen on that. And I'm only using this.
Yeah. Well, with approval voting, that splitting no longer happens because you can cast your vote for all of the candidates that you actually approve of. Which is why it's called approval voting.
Well, in my example, I think that and I'd have to think more about yours, but for the runoff, if you had a situation, I don't think that you should be able to be in a political position unless you receive more than 50+ percent of the vote. So what would end up happening is, the conservative and would get the most votes, but it wasn't 50% with the liberal, and then they'd have to go through a runoff election, and in that way would because if you look at France as an example, France presidential elections have a runoff system, and if they didn't, it's a possibility that the fascist would have been president. So it keeps in that sense it keeps. But the problem with that is that you end up getting really bad candidates who are really only you're only trying to beat the fascists, which I don't think you should be trying to do. You should be having a good candidate.
Yeah, well, that's one more reason. Like I said, we really should have an option to vote against someone. Approval voting does a lot to solve that. It's not a complete solution, but it does change the dynamics quite a bit. For example, Seraphim was mentioning, we've got a system that only allows two parties to be in the debates. Well, part of that is because of the fact that it comes down to a choice between two candidates, and people don't dare vote for a third candidate because they think voting for that third candidate takes away their vote from one of those other two. With approval voting, you can do both. You can vote for your third candidate and still vote for one of those two. The problem there, of course, being that if you're voting for one of those two as a way of trying to get one of those two to beat the other of those two, then you're still pushing those. You're still helping push those two above the third one that you really wanted. And so there's no way of representing it in that sense that you would have preferred that third one. Now, runoff allows you to specify that you would prefer that third one, but then still have your vote for the second one, the first or second one, if the vote for the third one falls through and that one doesn't win. So there's a bunch of dynamics to that. If you want to look up a simple system that solves a lot of those problems, there's one called star voting. I actually have one called Bramir. I'll post the hashtag in the chat because it's a bit of a strange spelling, but it's a balanced ranked approval maximum yield instant runoff. It is an instant runoff, but it is also an approval voting system, and it also allows the option to vote against someone.
I'm gonna have to jump off here because my computer's about to die and I have to get back to work. But I thank you for the conversation, and I'll be in the
Yeah, no worries, and thanks for joining for a bit. It's much appreciated. I prefer dialogue over monologue. I'm not real good at the whole unscripted monologue thing, but I'm doing it anyway because got to do something.
Yeah, I'm usually working at this time, so it's a little bit hard to jump on these things. But next week I have Monday and Friday off, so I can join in, or if you have it on the weekends or something like that.
All right. Well, feel free to message me in Twitter or something, and let me know if there's a specific time or date that you'd prefer. Anybody's welcome to make those suggestions or put them in the comments in one of these videos. I haven't been checking the comments as much as I should. I need to get better at that. Maybe once in a while somebody wants to remind me, that would be nice. But yeah, I'm trying to improve at these things. We shall see how that works out. Any rate, is there anybody else would like to join the live stream for a bit? I'll post the link again. And if anybody's, watching, but they're behind, of course, they're not going to hear me say that until they get caught up with that part of it. But yeah, thing is, pretty much everything evolves. Anything that changes doesn't necessarily evolve. I mean, like if you've got, for example, something that toggles back and forth between red and blue. You've got a light. Well, like the lights on an emergency vehicle. Flashing red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. That's not an evolution because there's no change adding up there. If it flashes, if a light flashes red, blue, green, red, blue, green, red, blue, green, red, blue, green, again, there's no change really adding up. And now some people, depending on how someone defines evolution, some people would still call that an evolution. If you had it going through colors like red, green, blue, orange, yellow, pink, whatever, just random colors, some people would call that its evolution. I wouldn't refer to that as an evolution because it's not changes adding up. I would call that more just a history of the changes that it went through. But that's a distinction I would make. And of course, words don't mean the same thing to everyone all the time in all circumstances. So I do want to acknowledge that there are other uses out there that can still be functional. But the usage of the word evolution that I found to be the most useful, the most beneficial, is the process of change adding up, or change accumulating or being accumulated. And so in that sense, something just changing randomly, and those changes like canceling each other out, would not be evolution. If you've got random changes being added to something, but the changes are adding up, that would still be evolution. If you've got non-random changes being added to something and those changes are adding up, that would be evolution. If you've got non-random changes happening to something, but those changes cancel each other so they don't add up, then I would not call that evolution. Some people would. So my thoughts on it. Yeah. I suppose I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream then. Couple hours in, and thanks everyone for being here. And don't know when I'll be making my next live stream, but check back once in a while if you want, and see if I've got one posted. A time schedule for it to come up, and appreciate if you share links to it if you do see one, and let other people know about it. And hopefully I can grow this channel to where we can make things a little more interesting and get more people coming on here and talking with me about stuff. And I've also got other things that I've got planned to do with the channel, so we will see how that works out. And thanks everyone. Take care.